Hello class, welcome back to the week 11 material, and in this segment we're going to cover the concept of moving files, how to copy files, and also how to delete files and rename files on the class server using a command line interface. So in this segment we are going to actually go back to typing commands into the command line, so hopefully you remember how to get onto the server. So again, you can recall previous commands just by hitting the up arrow key. Hit that once, you should be able to get the SSH command back that you typed previously. Then everything after that is pretty routine, hopefully by now. All right, or on the server. Again, just to show you what's on the server, or what's on my home account at least, I'll go ahead and type ls so that we can get a look at what's in there. So first command that I'm going to go ahead and introduce is the copy command. And the way the copy command works is it's a SCP. There is another variant of this called SCP, which is secure copy, which almost does the same thing, but for most of the stuff we'll be doing in this class, you only have to worry about the CP command. SCP does do something a little bit different, but we're not going to worry about that right away. But the way the CP command works is you give it it takes in two values, and those two values are separated by spaces. So notice I do have a space here between the CP and where the cursor is. The first value you give it is the file path leading to the file that you want to copy. And in this case, I'm just going to be duplicating example.py, and in this case, I'm going to be using the local file path. And since my file is already in the same directory that I'm currently in, then I just need to use the local path, which is just going to be the file name itself. I don't have to send the computer diving through any directories. It's the file I want to copy is in the directory I'm currently in, so all I need to do to copy the file is just to do this. And the first value you give the copy command, that's the file that you actually want to copy. The second value that you give the copy command is a file path leading to what you want the duplicated file to be named. So that may sound like a lot to digest right now, but basically what you put in for the second value, that's what you want. That's where you want the duplicate of the file to go. And you can also specify the name of the duplicate file and the second value that you pass the copy command. So first value you pass the copy command is the file path leading to the file that you want to copy. And the second value you pass to the copy command, that's where you want the duplicate file to go and also what you want it to be called. So in this example, I'll just go ahead and say something like that. So this is just a local file path, again, that goes into the directory that I'm currently in. So if I were to run this command right now, it would take example.py, copy it, and put the duplicate in example copy.py. And since both of these, there's no directories out in front of them, so this all is going to happen in the directory that I'm currently in. So example.py, it's going to look for that file in the current directory, which you can see right here, and then it's going to copy that file and call the duplicate example copy.py, and it's going to put it in the directory that I'm currently in as well. So if I run that command, you can see no immediate on-screen acknowledgement that it actually did anything. So what you can do is you can go ahead and type ls. And again, just to make sure, I reiterated a point earlier, notice that there is a space here and here. Make sure there are spaces there and only spaces there. So if you have, to make sure that all this is one word, there's no spaces in the file path here, there's no spaces in the file path here. Otherwise, you're either going to get odd behavior or you're going to get error messages saying you couldn't find this file or whatever it might be. But getting back to the on-screen acknowledgement thing, if you want to confirm that the file was actually copied, you can use the ls command. And you can see we do in fact have a duplicate file here. And if you want to take a look at what's inside that file, you can simply gny that. And you can see it does in fact contain the same contents as the file that we started with at the very beginning. All right, so let's say I want to copy a file from somewhere and put it in a different directory. So just operating with the same file that we have been using. So we'll just say cp example.py again. Again, this is just a super simple local path leading to a file called this in the directory we're currently in. And then let's say I want to put it inside of sample1, which is the directory we created in the third segment. So I would give it the local file path for that. So I'm saying from within the current directory, within my home directory, look for a directory called sample1, which is up here. And then if I want something to go in that directory, I give it a /. And then here I'll say example copy.py. So just to run through what exactly this is going to do, this is going to look for a file called example.py within the directory I'm currently in. And that directory is just my home directory or my home folder. And then it's going to copy that file and put the duplicate in the sample1 directory, which is also located within my home directory or the directory I'm currently in. Take the duplicate, put it in this directory, and call the duplicate file example copy.py. So again, no on-screen acknowledgement, but if I want to, I can go ahead and cd into the sample1 directory to see what's in there, or I could use the ls command. I could say ls sample1, that would also accomplish the same end goal, but just to verify that things are a little bit different when we cd into sample1, you can see we do in fact have the file that we just copied there. And just to confirm it is the same. You can see it is the exact same. So all the contents are the same. All right. So one thing that you can also do with the copy command that's really nifty, and this is actually an advantage that the command line interface offers, but first let me go ahead and go back to my home directory and go ahead and type in ls command. Another thing that you can do with the command line interface, which offers an advantage over the graphical user interface, is you can actually copy multiple files of the same file type into another location. And there's a relatively straightforward way of doing that. If you're using a graphical user interface, there might be a way to do this, but it's not exactly easy, and it might be really tedious. But let's say I want to get all of my Python files into some directory. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a new directory here. So I'll call it sample Python, just to confirm that was created. There we go. Now let's say I wanted to copy every single Python file from where it's at, from my home directory, and I want to put it in sample Python. And there's a really nice way to do that. So again, I'll type cp copy command. And then here I'm going to put *.py. Remember, anything can take the place of this asterisk here. So this basically means that the file name can be anything at the beginning as long as it ends in .py, and that will in fact copy every single file that ends in .py regardless of what's at the very beginning. As long as a file ends in .py, then that's a file that will be copied. And then where I want to put the file, or put all the duplicates, very similar ideas before. So I want to put them all in sample Python, and then /, and the next thing I'm going to do is dot, just a period sign that goes directly after the slash. Again, notice there's no space between these two things here. So the way this is going to work is it's going to take every file that ends in .py, copy it, put each duplicate in the sample Python directory, and this dot here tells it to preserve the original name of the file. So if we're copying the first file, it's going to copy as another example.py, and it's going to move that into the sample Python directory, and it's going to keep that same file name. And it'll do the same thing for example2.py, example copy.py, example.py, happyplot2.py. Everything that ends in .py will be copied, put into sample Python, and by using the dot here, I'm telling the command line that I want to preserve the original name of every copy that I make. So again, no on-screen acknowledgement, but if we go into sample Python directory and then type ls, you can see we did in fact copy every single Python file. So this copy command, this version of the copy command that we used is really nice if you're only interested in copying a specific file type. So if you're only interested in maybe plain text files, or you're only interested in copying a whole bunch of images, then there's a really quick and shorthand way of doing that. Doing that in a graphical user interface, again, there's probably a way to do it, but it's might be a little bit more tedious and not as abbreviated, whereas here just is one command, a few keystrokes, and you're done. Once you get proficient with the command line interface, this is something that can be quite advantageous. So that's the copy command. The next command that we're going to look at is the move command, which is structured pretty much the exact same way as the copy command. And by that, I mean we type pretty much the same thing as if we were to copy. If we were to move a file, we copy. Let me try that again. If we copy a file, we type out this. We type out the command as if we were typing out the copy command, but instead of typing CP, we type MV, which stands for move file. And then, other than that, it's pretty much the exact same process. So what I can do is I can give it the file path to. So the first thing, just like with the copy command, the first thing that I put here is the file path leading to the file that I'm interested in moving. So I could say I want to move example copy.py, which resides within my home directory. Notice how I'm in my home directory up here, and I'm not in my home directory here. I'm in sample Python. So let's say I want to get this file example copy from my home directory. So I give it the file path leading to example copy, which is going to start off as tilde. We start in this directory and then go to example copy.py. And then the second value I give the move command is what I want the new name of the file to be. So I can move the file and also rename it all in one command. So here I'm just going to call it newname.py. And again, since this is also a local file path here, so since I'm already in sample Python, by just having this by itself, by just having this as the file path, it's going to take this file, move it into the directory I'm currently in, and rename the file as newname.py. And again, no on-screen acknowledgement that it actually did that. So if we type ls command, we should be able to confirm for ourselves if that actually happened. And you can see we do have a file called newname.py, but let me go ahead and go back to the home directory, type ls there, and you can see example copy is no longer here. It has in fact been moved to this directory, sample Python. Another trick you can do with the move command also allows you to rename files. So if I wanted to, I could take a file here, call it, say, example2.py. I can rename that file by typing out a move command like so. So in this case, again, just the local file path. Since I'm already in the home directory and my file is in the home directory, I just only need to type out the name of the file that I want to move, quote unquote move. And then this is where the new file is going to go, and this is also going to be what the new file is called. So I'm going to take this file, move it to this location, which essentially boils down to just renaming example2.py to example3.py. And again, no on-screen acknowledgement, so another ls command will be nice. And you can see the name of our file has in fact changed. So you can use the move command to move files from one directory to another, but you can also use the move command to rename files.